So good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Leaders Connect, where leaders create more leaders. So Leaders Connect is a CSR initiative by VYSA training and organized by the Mass Leadership. And my name is Prakash Sharma, an author of the book, The Mass Leadership. And Leaders Connect is started with a specific objective of inviting 1,000+ leaders and creating 1 million leaders, where all the working professionals and business people share their real-time challenges on this respective platform, either on leading self, leading others, or leading the business on the site, themassleadership.com. We see all the challenges, filter them, and every week on Wednesday, we invite a top management leader who will share solutions for the real-time challenging situations on leadership. So that's when we call it as leaders creating more leaders. So today we all have our guest, Ms. Reetu Raina, and from who's CHRO from Quick Heal. So we will be sharing and discussing with her through our panel discussion leader, Mr. Pankaj Vyas. But before that, let me share that currently we all are live and this is being recorded. So for the visitors who are for the first time, please do join us by clicking on the link on the chat box, and you will be able to see every week after week the leaders who are coming us for this respective platform. So are we all ready for the specific topic, very specific, as very clear topic, which is agile leadership? And if all are ready to have an interaction, have a discussion, type ready on the chat box, and we will go ahead introducing our guest, Ms. Reetu Raina. So quickly type ready on the chat box, and then we go here. Great, thanks very much for the people who are typing in ready on the chat box. Great. So let me quickly take the privilege of introducing also Ms. Reetu Raina. We got to know each other is through the LinkedIn, and very kind of her that she has accepted to join us today as a leader, where she'll be sharing her views about and experiences about the topic called Agile Leader. So as we do that, before that, we have a quick professional introduction about Ms. Reetu Raina, which is through a video format. And before that, welcome Ms. Reetu Raina.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
A pleasure, Bean. Thanks very much. And it's been really great that you've been here as our guest. And as more people are joining in, and today we'll have more deeper discussion and we'll take it forward.
Yeah. Sure.
So we have a special introductory video for you as through video format. So please, for all the members and visitors, let's have an understanding about Ms. Reetu Raina through the video introduction. So all members and visitors, do type in welcome Ms. Reetu, and yes, thanks very much Ms. Reetu for joining us here on this amazing platform, Leaders Connect. So how are you, ma'am? How was the day been today for you?
Thank you so much for inviting, and I really appreciate the cause which you are driving about leaders create leaders, because I think we all learn by sharing experiences. And thanks for that. And I think this is the way we learn and we grow.
Thanks very much, ma'am. Really great. So wonderful. So all the members, now how we go is every week we also have a panel discussion leader or moderator. And today we have Mr. Pankaj Vyas from Visa Training, who will be having certain key questions on behalf of our community, has shared and is going to interact with Ms. Reetu Raina for the same. And for all the visitors who are for the first time, there are two ways to interact with Ms. Reetu. So once the discussion along with Pankaj is done, and by the end of our episode as well, we have two options. One, either you can raise your hand and we give you an opportunity to unmute yourself and you can ask the question directly to Ms. Reetu. Or option number two, we can type the question on the chat box and we take the question on your behalf to Ms. Reetu. But let's ensure that the questions are specific to the topics, which will add more value so that it gives more clarity in the what we are discussing. So on that note, I would like to introduce Mr. Pankaj Vyas here on the screen. Welcome, Mr. Pankaj, for our Leaders Connect episode as well.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you so much.
Great.
So
over to you, Pankaj, for a discussion with Ms. Reetu Raina.
Thanks, Prakash. So good evening, everyone, and good evening, Reetu ma'am. It's an honor actually to speak to you, a person with high intellect, a person with such a vast experience, and the topic for the day, that's agile leadership. So your experience right from telecom to insurance to banking to IT, I mean, that itself shows that this particular topic, you are the real example of agile leadership, right? So thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome to this forum called Leaders Connect. So, ma'am, just wanted to know, as you know, everybody talks about leadership, leadership, leadership. There is one thing now here we have put an adjective that is called agile, right? That agility has been put to this term called leadership. So maybe know in your ways about what and why agility is required for a leader. Can you please throw some light on that one?
Sure. So thanks, Pankaj, first of all, for inviting me and interacting with everyone. I think we will learn through the questions, we'll learn through the discussion.
Right.
And as you rightly mentioned about, why there is so much of focus on agility.
Right.
I just want to start with a statement. There is no absolute truth, on the earth. Everything is contextual, because you can't say that I isolated it is the reality, right?
Right.
When we operate in a context, if we have to be successful, we have to keep adapting ourselves, keep changing, taking the decisions which are helping us in those scenarios. And I think you picked up a right example about me moving from telecom to BFSI and to IT. And, when I look back and just to share, how did I see the agility across industries? For example, I was in telecom and the telecom was at its boom, right?
True.
It was just the revolution of telecom in India, way back in 2000, early 2000, and mobiles were coming. I joined BFSI, which was a mature industry, and I would also say that very highly regulated industry, very formal.
True.
And then when I joined IT, AMDOCS as a product company, it was altogether different, because it's about creativity, it's control of regulation and structure.
Yes.
Now, if one has to navigate, now for me, the navigation was happening from one organization or sector to another, but sometimes the navigation can happen for an individual within the same company with the changing milestones, with the changing scenarios in the organizations. Now, what worked in an X scenario will not work in a Y scenario. If I have to be successful, I have to really understand how do I use the current facts to make the decisions with least risk. And I really want to share the example of COVID. March 2020, everyone said, I can't work from home, impossible, offices will be shut. But what is the reality? We adapted, and work from home became a reality over a period of time.
True.
So I think agility, it may not have been spelled out in the pre-2000 era. It has been spelled out more because the pace of change is much faster now than the past.
True.
Agility, if I look in the pre-2000 era, was leaders' ability to understand the current scenario and make decisions to move forward. Now, since in the current scenario, the change of pace is very fast. So, we now connect it easily to the agility. So, and more importantly, experience should not become a bottleneck for us to move forward. It should only help us to understand, okay, it worked in that scenario, but going forward, how do I apply in this scenario so that I move forward in a more effective way? That is what I can really talk about, agility and its importance for leaders in the current scenario.
Wow, ma'am, very well and simply explained. So my next question is in line to what you have explained. So when we say that agility, you have talked about agility. So the agility, do you think is a behavior which can be acquired or it is an inherent talent? And if you think it's an inherent, then why?
Okay. So I think, I would just first kind of try to clarify the difference between talent and the behavior, because behavior is your inclination, or I would say your natural style to react to a particular scenario. And talent or skill is something which, you have developed over a period of time to deliver the results.
True.
Now, when I talk about agility, for me, if you go from my experience, I would say it is a behavior, because but you might have a skill or a talent, but you may not be agile. You may be agile, but you may not have a talent or a skill. Talent or a skill is a technical competence which helps you to deliver a particular task in a given scenario. For example, I might be a financial analyst. So I am talented financial analyst, but I may not be agile, right? So agility is more to do with the behavior and less to do with the skills or talent. Now, the question is, does agility come naturally to you? Is it inborn, or does it really happen over a period of time? I think what my experience says, that agility starts coming to an individual basis the ecosystem where he's getting brought up, the kind of people or experiences he is meeting. Because when we are in the formative years of our age, we are catching everything around us, and it takes an impression, and we decide our rules, and we also start deciding our rules of success or rules of failure. So when we start deciding our rules of success, we say, okay, I have to be agile, I have to be this, I have to be that. So I think those formative years and your experiences you meet during those, because when you are young, you are very impressionable. And those impressionable years, your experiences with others helps you to form their behavior. And accordingly, you become more agile or less agile or whatever you call it.
All right, ma'am. Right. Thank you so much. So, ma'am, as you have rightly explained, again, there is one thing which will take us back to certain points which you already discussed. Earlier, we used to identify talent from the similar industry, right?
Correct.
But nowadays, the talent is being identified from different industries. Though more innovation can be driven, but somewhere the agility is missing in the people. Maybe know your views on that one.
I want to just take a point from my earlier question when I said experience should help us to move forward, not
Right.
us to stop, right? And when I say when we hire a talent from different industries and not from a similar industry, one of the thought processes behind those hirings is, can this person think from a different mold than the people with same experience think? For example, if I give you an example of a cybersecurity as an industry, or a telecom product as an industry. So when we are creating solutions for the customers, we have seen use cases for many years. We have built solutions for many people. So the moment we are given a problem, what is our autopilot? Those 10, 15 examples of the past, and what worked for them and what didn't work for them.
True.
Automatically, this autopilot helps us in creating a solution which has some connection with the past.
Very true.
What happens in the process? You work with the common denominator of only past experiences. You do not think about there is a possibility of solution in this other way as well.
Right.
Now, when, say, for example, there's a manufacturing person who comes to, say, for example, IT, or there is a telecom IT product services company comes to a cyber security, he or she actually doesn't have a preconceived notion. Neither he has the use cases which are similar to the current problem. He has different use cases. Since he has different use cases, he is kind of moldless. He is boundaryless.
True, true.
When he is boundaryless, he can actually put on the whiteboard a different picture or a solution which we couldn't have thought of.
True,
So,
ma'am.
in fact, it's becoming very, very imperative, especially for the companies that are building products around solutions. How can they get more varied experience people so that they can help them to create solutions from different angles?
Perfect, perfect. So thank you so much, ma'am. You have really explained it very well. So my last one question, ma'am, and then I will put it for the open forum. So ma'am, in your experience, maybe know how you have helped people in making them more agile. So if there is any practical example, if you can share from your experience, wherein you have been able or helped people to become more agile, if you can share some practical example.
I think, there are many examples, and I would say I would take examples from the organizational point of view rather than individuals. For example, I remember when I was working in HDFC, we were working on a model called career versatility. And how was the agility connected to it? When you work in a particular function, for example, you're in investment banking, you're in treasury, you're in retail banking, you want to work only there because that is your area of comfort, right? So in many organizations where I have worked, I have tried to create career graphs or career maps or career architectures where people can have broader exposure. Now, how does it help? So it helps in two ways. If you see the way world is moving, you need to have a depth of one particular vertical, but you need to have the breadth at the same time. Because what is happening in today's world is very, very unpredictable.
Right.
Let me just give you an example of disruptions and then connecting it to the career versatility and agility or T-type skills. Banking as an industry is one of the oldest industries, right? It is getting disrupted. What is bank becoming today? Bank is becoming a platform. Banks are hiring more technical people than actual people who will do the banking jobs. And it is not true for banks, it's true for everything. You take healthcare industry. Now, when this disruption is happening, so what are the elements that are required for professionals and for organization to be successful in that? When you want to create a technological disruption and you want to create a platform which can help you to build services to the customers, do you just need to be a subject matter expert? Answer is no. Because you are creating a programming language for a service.
True.
You have to understand how this one programming language will talk to the other programming language and how the integration would happen. Now, for you to create that integration, the T-shaped skills are very, very important. I think as organizations, we have to start investing in the career versatility concept. We have to talk about horizontal careers, because horizontal careers, of course, helps you in agility. But I would say agility is still an offshoot. But how does it help you? It helps you in retaining the talent, because people get multiple career options at a broader scope than vertical in the same organization. You, rather than hiring different background people from outside to build a solution, you yourself give an opportunity to people within. And last but not the least, when you actually work in various functions, your agility for sure increases, your creativity is much higher. But I think more than agility and more than creativity, there is one more phenomenal thing which is happening. And that is, there is an empathy getting built in all those people.
Right.
Sometimes one sub function says, the other department doesn't. Finance doesn't understand how HR works. HR doesn't understand how finance works, right? But when you have taken these, you have the empathy where they have problems, and your collaboration automatically becomes much and much better.
Right. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving such a wonderful insight, and that has really helped me to have more deeper understanding of this word called agile and agility. I just wanted to share, ma'am, when you were talking about BFSI banking example. So there's one thing which is common between you and me, that is HDFC Bank. I'm an ex-HDFC banker, right? So I was into the retail assets back in 2007 to 2010. I served HDFC for almost 3.5 years. And that has really taught me so many things. So I can relate on this. So thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, Prakash, please. Thank you so much, ma'am, from my side. Thank you.
Great, great. Thanks very much, Pankaj. Yes, definitely, we all see certain connecting factors where we are, and we all interact with each other. So awesome, awesome questions. Thanks for asking those questions, Pankaj. That really helps people to understand more. Great. So thanks very much, Reetu. It's very nicely shared across very practical insights you have told with more clarity about agility and being more agile. I really like sharing it about agile is actually more of a behavior. Wonderfully shared. So just talents.
I think Prakash,
you're on mute.
Yeah, it just got muted. So thanks so much. So it's more about the behaviors, what you're saying. It's wonderfully shared. So keeping this in mind, we're just going to have a small quiz now, where we're going to ask an open question, an open quiz question to all the participants, all the respective visitors and guests who are here for us today. So all the members, visitors, now is the time for the quiz question to answer. So every week we also conduct a quiz for whatever the leader has told and how much has been absorbed. So how you're going to do is fastest fingers first, type your answers on the chat box. So for the quiz to ask the question is where I'm going to invite Mr. Nellai Nayagam, who is from Orlikon India Private Limited from Pune. So yes, Mr. Nellai Nayagam, over to you for asking the specific quiz question. So go ahead, Nellai.
Good evening, one and all. Thanks to VYSA Training and Mr. Prakash Sharma for this opportunity as a quiz leader. Dear ma'am, really wonderful insights with your agile leadership. And so far, I had some thought process. Now it is much more very simple, and I can understand how much the agile is helping on the industries. Yeah, I'm really expressed or impressed your point on this experiences to help us move forward and not as a bottleneck. Yeah. We have to work on that, and as well as the horizontal career perspective. Yeah, thank you. So let's see who is the lucky winner of this week quiz. And so fastest fingers first. Let's see who writes the correct answer in the chat box. The ma'am quoted agile leadership in a too simple and a practical way. That the question is, the talent and behavior has been quoted with the different two styles on the agile leadership. Can we mention that what are the two styles on this talent and behavior?
Okay. So that means you're asking the question is, Nellai,
yes, sir.
How did she define what is talent?
Talent, what is behavior? With the
Okay, okay. Okay. So different ways it could be, different ways of sharing experience it could be. So it is about here how Ms. Reetu Raina shared what's the difference when Pankaj asked the question about talent and behavior. So quick, your answer in the chat box, please. That will help. What do you feel, or what did you listen from Ms. Reetu? She gave behavior is and talent is what she told. What is that? Feel free to write. So Srihari writes dynamic and experience. Okay, anything else? Anybody else quickly before we take it up? Make it faster if you're typing on the chat box, please. Behavior is natural. Vijay Kumar says behavior is a natural style. Okay, that's good. Just to add a style into it. So Vijay says that behavior is a natural style. Usha also says wonderful talent, skill which is inborn. Okay, that has been told by an audience. I don't know who's the audience, but yeah. Okay, very nice. So
just a minute.
Nellai, there are a couple of answers coming up, Nellai. So
yes, sir.
Give us a very appropriate answer quickly.
Just a minute, sir.
Make it faster.
Yeah, yes, sir. We can. I think Dr. Usha Rajagopalan and mention both. And the behavior is a natural style, and the talent is a developed style. So, Dr. Usha answered both. Yeah.
Okay, so Usha, Dr. Usha Rajagopalan. Okay, great, Nalai. Thanks very much. So Usha says, so in fact, what Ms. Neetu told us, behavior is a natural style, and it's more about the talent is developed over a period of years. So wonderful that way talent is acquired and developed over a period of years. So good. So thanks very much, Nalai, for sharing and identifying. So Dr. Usha Rajagopalan is the quiz winner. So congratulations, Dr. Usha. So all the members, please type congrats, Dr. Usha. And Dr. Usha, you also get an opportunity to interact with Ms. Reetu Raina initially now, and then we will take it forward. And you also win an Amazon gift voucher of ₹250, Dr. Usha, for telling these answers correctly. Wonderful, awesome answers. Great. So all can type Dr. Usha, congrats to you. Wonderful. So Dr. Usha, now that we give you an opportunity to interact with Ms. Reetu, if you have any question also, feel free to introduce yourself and then ask any question aligned to this particular topic, which is agile leadership. So we give an opportunity to share, Dr. Usha. Yes.
Sure. Okay. Hello, Ms. Reetu, and hi to Prakash and Nele Nagam. It was a wonderful session. I always look up to agile leadership, and ma'am, we have been looking into this agile for quite some time, and they say that you have to put things in short run and have the outcome. So you have to block it, break it, and that's how it works. So is that so? And how do you see that when they say, agile leadership and agile outcomes of the project? So that's how I've been thinking. So what is up to you to say on this?
I have unmuted you, Reetu. I believe it's got muted. Yeah.
I'm unmuted, yeah. So Usha, I think, when you talk about small blocks and then eventually leading to a place where you can actually become agile, I would say that, there is always a conflict we have in our own head whenever we are dealing with any situation. The conflict is always that, is my way right? Or do I need to understand from the intelligence of others? And we're always validating ourselves.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about agility, who does have this agility? A person who has ability to say, I may not be right.
Okay.
And I can learn and listen from the collective wisdom of the group and then take a decision. Now, I want to connect it to the earlier point when I said experience can sometimes become a bottleneck. What does experience do? Experience gives you a feeling or sometimes tells you that you did something this way, so this is the only way to achieve a success, or this is the only way, the right way to do. Over a period of time, you start realizing or you start believing my way is the only right way. And once you start believing my way is the only right way, your ability to adapt starts reducing. Now, even though agility is, I would say, natural, it's a behavior, but how can I still build my agility over a period of time is only and only by being self-aware. When I say being self-aware, say, for example, I have worked in certain projects or certain industries, and this is what used to work there. But I should be self-aware. The reason I think is because I have worked there. Let me listen to this person with whom I am working currently. So I think that is how we eventually start building our own agility over a period of time, even though it may not be very inherent and natural to us. Because our ability to deliver results in today's world is how are we able to build on the collective intelligence of people. And I always love this example of COVID. No one had a solution when it happened. Everyone was in a chaos. But if you look, which are the organizations which were still successful? Which are the leaders or the, I would say, the prime ministers or presidents which were successful? The ones who could take quick decisions and move forward and take risks. Now, they had no experience of past. So they were building on the collective intelligence. But there were still some nations who were thinking, okay, no, this is the only right way, I will do this. And they eventually failed. So I think our ability to understand ourselves, and more importantly, it is not necessarily I'm always right. And how do I build on the collective intelligence of the people helps us to be more and more agile.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also question, Dr. Usha, thanks very much for sharing. Would you like to introduce yourself, Dr. Usha? It'll help to know people as well. Okay, but that's okay. She's gone mute. That's fine. Great. So with that, let's continue then. Wonderfully answered. I really like that point of Ms. Reetu. What you're sharing is it's not necessarily that we're always right, and there is a possibility that any person, it could be at whatever level, at whatever positions it's there, and we need to become more self-aware and just start treating ourselves that I need to be more flexible and more adaptable. And that adaptability is less is what we say, agility also goes less. So,
and you know, Prakash, you will always see a characteristics of the people who are more agile. They will be always good listeners.
Rightly said. True, agreed.
They will have empathy.
Yes.
They will respect others' point of view, irrespective of whether it is good, bad, ugly, right? So
True.
the moment you see someone is listening to you, the moment you see, he is able to understand your point of view, that itself shows that he or she is much more agile. Because again, he is wanting to understand from your intelligence and from your perspective, what could be the better solution to the problem which is at our hand.
Rightly said, wonderfully shared. That momentum itself and acceptance at that momentum will really bridge that gap. Wonderful.
Correct.
Great. So, members and visitors, now is the time to ask open questions. There are two ways of asking. Either you can raise your hand and we give an opportunity to unmute you, and then you can ask the question to Ms. Reetu, or type your question in the chat box and we take it on your behalf and we ask the same question as well. So people who would like to raise your hand and ask any questions, feel free. In the meantime, let me also share on the chat box Ms. Reetu Raina LinkedIn ID. This is how we got to Ms. Reetu Raina as well. So feel free to connect with her through LinkedIn, where I'm sure Ms. Reetu will definitely help most of the people on the same. So I believe Mr. Anil Goswami has a question. He's raising his hand on the video itself directly. I'm able to see you. So thank you very much. So I'll give an option to unmute yourself, sir. Yes, Mr. Anil Goswami, please go ahead.
Excellent presentation, Reetu. Very well said. So I would like to love and add some of the points she has told, especially about the context. You see, you may do anything, but if the leader doesn't focus on the context, so everything would go away. Even if you are designing a program, you don't know what audience you are giving. Okay, so you are going to a program, say on biryani, chicken biryani, and if your people are Jain people and you want to present them, people will get out, from your program. So this is most important thing she referred about context. What context you have. Similarly, in COVID, you want to give about tourism. So nobody likes that program. Even that may be a fantastic program. So your program has to be very interesting, very impactful, problem solving, and it should hook the people to continue and adopt your program, whatever insight you have given. So, and leave legacy. So whatever you have said, then you told nice thing, the behavior and talent also. But in my view, so when I find the difference between agile leader, if everything your direction is very clear, your goal is very clear, that we call already, like waterfall model. But when your program is, you don't know anything, what is going to happen as army attacks, to the opponents. So they don't know what is their strategy. So every moment they have to change their strategy and then move forward. Same thing as a project manager, you have to move forward slowly, step by step, and acquire and win over your targets, whatever you want to say. And you design your structure as per aligning of your goals, whatever goals you have fixed. So as intention drives energy, everybody knows, this thing. So
True. Wonderfully shared, Anil Goswami, sir. In fact, but just connected to a question, if you also have, that will be really added more value. If you have any question to ask.
So one thing I would love to ask is,
please.
As an agile leader, so I want to understand what type of, how you will do the communication with your customer or with your team. So how you design your communication system. Thank you.
So I think, communication system, we have to always, apply design thinking. When I say design thinking, who is the persona to whom I am communicating?
Very good, very good.
For example, if I have my customer is my persona, I need to think what content would he need from me? What content is he looking for? So when you think about a persona and his needs and his expectation, and then you start designing your content, it meets the persona in the right way. Because at the end of the day, any communication is successful only if it is meeting the end result. Now, for that, we have to always think, who is my end audience? Who is my persona? And how should I create or design something which will help him to meet his expectations?
Reetu ji, so rightly said about, you said about persona, but as you know, we have 12 types of archetypes. You know, all people are sitting before you, senior people are there, women are there, housewives are there, corporate people are there. So what persona you will choose there? Some children are also there. You have all types of archetypes, orphan, innocent, so on and so forth, that we have learned already. In congruent sign, we have learned already. So how you will design your performa if you see diversified group of the people?
Absolutely. I think, there are two layers of personas. The layer one is that everyone is a human being who is an embodiment of emotions.
True.
Layer two is, he is a housewife, she's a corporate lady, he's a engineer, he's a child, whatever. Now, if you have to design a communication or a solution to a wider set of audience, we have to create a lowest common denominator of the persona. So now when we have to create a lowest common denominator of the persona, it is, how do I touch these people? How do I talk to these people as common human beings who might be expecting some solution from this program or from this communication? So I think that way we might lose on the customization part, but still, again reiterating, communication is about them, not about me or not about my understanding, because I have to talk to them. If I have to talk to them, I have to come to their level or to their this thing. So you may lose customization, but you have to go to the layer one and you have to go to the lowest common denominator.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. 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 Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Mr. Anil, for asking that question. That really helped, in fact, get more clarity and understanding. Would you like to introduce yourself in short? And what do you do, Mr. Anil Goswami, so it will be benefit of all?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So with that, any other members and visitors, if you have any questions, now is the time for asking questions. Else, so we would come to summary and we would like to close the episode for the day. It's already nearing 7:15. So maybe any one question, if you have, we can take. Else, we will be able to go ahead with the summary. So, but all the key points, wonderful, and I really like the answer of 2 layers of persona, which is first is being a human being. That's an excellent answer, I would really say. And that's the base of every person. So, okay, Sri Hari Uchuru has raised a hand. So, can we take one last question, Reetu, if it's okay with you?
Sure, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, yes, Mr. Sri Hari. So, quickly introduce yourself and then ask the question that you had. Yes,
yeah, good evening, madam. My name is Sri Hari. I'm working as a product design and development engineer in lead acid batteries. Coming to the product development, there it is always dealing with the uncertainty. So how to adapt this agile system for the new product development?
I think, when we talk about the new product development, before we actually go to the product development, we have already done some research, some analysis, and we have created a
Yes,
roadmap.
yes, madam. Yes.
Now, roadmap is there, but I am sure, being in IT product company, at every stage, the expectation keeps changing because the market is changing, the needs are changing. I think if we have design partnership with the teams who are actually going to sell our products, and validating at every step that how do we make small tweaks and changes in the go, on the fly, rather than coming at the end we have started with the MVP. And this is a very, very relevant question, Srihari, because today the changes in the market or changes in the industry are so fast paced that we have conceived a product or incubated a product till the time of delivery, world has already moved 180 degrees. So in that situation, during the design process, even though the roadmap is clear, we need to start creating a design partnership with few of our customers or few of our end users, so that on every step we can incorporate any changes, whatever we can, so that when our end product comes, it is more in line with the market. Now here, if you look here, we have to be agile.
Yes.
Because if we will think my roadmap, which I had created, and my product will take 1 year to come out, is the best, and stick to it, we are doomed. Because then we are not even accepting the way which is coming to us in the form of input. So I think frequent validations and design partnerships over the journey, even before we come out with the product, is what is really going to help. And agility is for sure required for that.
Yeah. Thanks, madam. Actually, what we are doing is earlier it is like whatever the design final goal, once we reach, then only we are giving to the customer. So based on this system, we can give the whatever the initial product we have developed and give to them and get their feedback.
Exactly.
So,
that's exactly the design partnership we are talking.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Srihari, for sharing your question. That's been awesome. So great, Reetu. That's been time as well. I understand you may also have the other commitments. However, it was really great interacting with you. So we'd like to just quickly summarize and end it with the episode. We'll just take 2 minutes so that we all are set. So is there anything else? But I just have one last question for our community alone, just from my side. So and then we will end. So before that, I would request Mr. Nelle to share a quick summary of the particular episode, the discussion, what all we had. Yes, Mr. Nelle, would like to share a summary on the same. Oh, I believe Mr. Nelle. Yeah. Can I unmute yourself, Nelle? Yes, Mr. Nelle, we've unmuted you. Nelle, I believe you are muted. You're unmuted. It's fine.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, now it's audible. Please go ahead. Yes, sorry.
Yes. On the summary, yes, we have to focus on the agility, and we have to focus on the current data and for least risk, and we have to adapt on the reality, and the experience should not be a bottleneck, and it should help on the agility and the leader's ability to help to have a decision to move forward. And the talent is a developed style and behavior is a natural style. And the age or the we have to form a rule of success, and accordingly we have to work on the agile. And when we have a young, and we will have a less agile, and over a period we have a higher agile. And that this particular when we are hiring, then this is can think on a different mode and a similar experience. And this particular agile leadership making us on a boundary-less and solution from a different angle. And agile make us this particular current exposure and more deeper and more wider and integrity in the organization. And this particular agile, it's making a horizontal career approach and multiple career options. And the skill and this and in this agile, this and ambiguous is the key factor on the things. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Wonderfully shared. That like agile is just one word, but we have so many other contexts related to agile, of being agile, demonstrating the way how do we need to be agile. So thanks very much, Nalai, for the quick summary. That's really been awesome. And with that, we come to an end of this episode. So let me share the purpose of the community once again, and then we come to an end. And then one last question, Ritu, is the question to you. Before let me take the question first with you, Ritu. Question is, what is the one piece of advice you'd like to share into the community members here? Because most of the people in this community are middle management and above, and they all are having a thought process of how do they go to the next level, for which what all they need to improve on, and how we all can together help each other and grow together. So to such kind of people is what if you have to share, what could your piece of advice be that will add more value to these people?
I think first of all, everyone has to be clear about their own north,
Sure.
where they want to go. What is my purpose statement? Because when you are very clear what is my north, then you will figure out a way to reach there. And secondly, I think one thing which one should not ever leave is be a lifelong learner.
Perfect.
You're never arrived in life. You're never arrived in life. So be a lifelong learner and be clear about your north. And north should be your internal compass to direct you where you want to go.
Right. Awesome. Awesomely said. Thanks very much. In fact, Raina, that's really great. So let me quickly share the objective, and I would like to thank you all on all our behalf. So the Leaders Connect is an online leadership community where every Wednesday on 6:30, 7:15, we invite a top management leader from a reputed company. So like how we have seen today, Ms. Reenu Raina, Ms. Reenu Ritu Raina shared with us about her experiences on the episode. So every month, we also, the last week of Wednesday is where we also conduct the networking episode, where we also network with the like-minded professionals who are interested in their constant growth. So keeping this in mind is where, if you wish to join any person on our community, please feel free to click on the WhatsApp group, which is there on the chat box, which will add more value. And for all the members, feel free to keep coming week after week, as we've been always coming, and it will add more value. So next week, we have the last final reflections episode and a networking episode, which is the last week of every month. So next week, we can just stay connected more. We're going to reflect all. So stay tuned until then. So that's great, Bean, and thanks very much, Ritu Raina. That's been awesome interacting with you, and it's a pleasure that you have joined us with us, and then definitely we'll stay in touch.
So thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. So members and visitors, now is the time for you all for quick networking at this part of the end. So people who wish to network now, feel free to network. You can share and introduce yourself more so that we can get to know each other more. The more we know each other, the more we understand each other, and the more we can help each other. And that's the role of networking. For the 10 minutes time we take till 7:30. So people who wish to introduce yourself and just share 2-3 ways of networking is there. They share a need, share an offer, or share experience, or introduce yourself. Either way is okay. So now I'm giving you an opportunity for all the people to unmute themselves automatically. So if you feel to wish to talk, kindly click on unmute and you will be able to speak. So if so, I'm also removing myself from the spotlight, so it adds value and we'll be able to see each other in terms of interaction. So we have a couple of new people also joined us. Thanks, Bhuna, for a long time. Maybe we're seeing you. Great. Bhuna, welcome back, Bhuna. How are you?
Thank you, Prakash. I'm doing good. Back after a long break. And
Yes.
yeah, I hope to be more regular.
Sure.
But unfortunately, I think you're having a physical meeting on Sunday.
This Sunday at Chennai, we're having, that's right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was looking forward to meeting you all again. But I will not be able to attend because of a family function that day.
That's completely
Huge
fine.
family.
We have every 3 months once. For all the members here, every 3 months once we have a networking meet, which is a physical networking meet at Ibis Hotel. Different locations we had. Last week we had in Bangalore, and this Sunday we have it at Chennai. So Bhuvana, the next networking meet always you can feel free to join it. And we'd love to
next time.
meet you also. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it was such a lovely meeting, the one that we had last time.
Yes.
It was
good.
so friendly and nice. We all left with a very good feeling.
Great.
So
Thank you, Bhuvana. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, great.
next
Who
time.
would like to go next? Maybe Bhuvana, you can introduce yourself. They'll be helping other people because there are a couple of new people are there today. So in short, you can just introduce yourself, Bhuvana.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not coming on video, but next time I will. I'm a psychologist and I'm an author also. That's how I got introduced to Prakash and his gang of friends. And anyway, I enjoy counseling people, and I use a tool called genetic brain profiling, where I go deep into the way a person's brain is wired.
Great.
And this is a useful tool for students as well as for corporate people, especially if they have a team and they want to know why they are not able to get along with a particular member in the team, or why a particular member is sort of behaving the way he's behaving, and there's less cooperation.
True.
Maybe it's to do with handling him in a different way. We have a lot of compartments in our lobe, and if one lobe doesn't function properly, the other lobes take over their work. And so these people need to be handled in a different way.
Correct.
So
those all secrets you can tell directly, Bhuvana. That'll have to go well.
sorry, I got cut. What did
What
you
I'm
say?
sharing is
Prakash?
those all secrets you can tell directly when people are connecting with you.
Yes,
Sound
yes.
is on, it's connected.
Yeah, so that's in short about me and what I do. Thank you.
Great, Bhuvana. Thanks very much. So who else would like to go ahead to introduce? Yeah, David, you want to discuss, you can share, please. And then we also have Mr. Chaitanya Chatterjee. Mr. Chaitanya, would like to introduce yourself. There's a time
Hi,
now if you'd like to
Prakash.
introduce yourself.
Hi, Prakash. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this session for the first time. And it had been a wonderful session. And Reetu sharing her ideas about agile leadership, which was really very nice to listen to and understand her perspective. And as a quick introduction, well, I am a practicing LNOD practitioner in the industry for nearly 21 years now, and that's how I would primarily like to take forward my exposure of these years into getting into more deeply involved with the various facets of learning and organizational development and capability building for people at large.
Great.
Thank you, Prakash, again.
Thanks very much, Chaitanya, for joining, and that really has value. Good one. So who would like to go next? Who would like to share and introduce yourself? Oh, we are able to see Casey has joined. Oh, hi, Casey. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Prakash.
Oh, hi.
I've been a silent listener, so
Oh, okay.
glad to see you on the video, and wonderful to be part of this, interaction.
Thanks, Casey. Yeah, good one. So look forward. In fact, just completed with, I believe you were there throughout the episode. I just saw your name, so I just called you. But yeah, it's been really nice that you have come here. Good one. So like you introduce yourself, Kezia. Will help others as well.
Yeah, so very quick brief. So I'm Kezia. Hi, everyone. And it's wonderful to see a large group of people, being part increasingly right from day one. Prakash had started this network. It is such a blessing to have someone like Prakash, who has a lot of aspiration and dream towards the HR fraternity, and as well developing a learning community on a daily basis. I think this is a phenomenal example that you stand as a role model. See, it's always easy to begin, but it's difficult to continue and to finish. I think you are standing by those proverbs that, and I believe that you will certainly finish and be, a great harvest for the future generation to come. So just to, I think those are the things that inspire even others, even if you are staying offline and not regularly participating. Role modeling is always a shadowing aspect that reminds us to come back to our basics. And you are one of them. We as in HR, whether it's L&D, OD, or CHRO, all the great titles that we have. End of the line, it's really about learning lifetime that Reetu had mentioned. And you are one who reminds us on a daily basis. So we need to let go all our ego and esteems and fancy titles and all of that, and go back to a kindergarten like this to really be open enough to listen. And that's the breaking ice for the future generation. So thanks for role modeling. I, in fact, want to applaud you before even I would want to introduce myself.
Thanks very much. Really awesome.
Continue to do this, and I'm sure this is going to be a long way.
Sure. Yes.
So I'm, heading as to all my dear colleagues here that in this group. So I'm heading the L&D piece, the HRD development piece for Foxconn, a group of companies. And this is a Taiwan organization in Chennai, and also in Andhra Pradesh, and we have an R&D center. So I'm taking care of the entire L&D piece. Prior to this, I was with Nokia in Finland, heading as the HR for Manaus, Dongguan, and Chennai factory. So basically, I'm a HR professional, and over the course, I've learned that L&D is something that every HR should land into. Beside your systems and operations and decision making. So I think it's important that we all need to learn in HR. So I think this is the best way we can be safe. So that's a very short brief about myself. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much, Prakash.
Very much, yes. Yeah, thanks for taking time to join us. That's really be great. Great. So any of the members would like to introduce yourself, feel free to raise your hand, and then you want to network with people, or once you introduce, you get to know more. And the more you know people, the more you can get interaction more. So I believe most of the people are done, and everybody else, Prabhakar is also there. Thanks anyone, doing it so. And they would like to share any points before we close. David is also there. Okay, I believe David is occupied, but nevertheless, great then. So we close the networking episode today, and thank you all for joining us this week. And as usual, I told you all, the last Wednesday of every month has been a reflection plus networking episode. Please do join, where all the members who get an opportunity to interact in a structured fashion, that you will be able to interact, you'll be able to. The more you interact, the more you understand people, the more you understand people, the more you build relationships. And that's how we all constantly grow. So let's go ahead, let's keep it up for the constant growth. And coming back to the tagline, leaders create more leaders. So we all are leaders together. Let's create more. Please do invite your friends, relatives, or people whom you feel that they also can add value more, or they also can align to our discussions of what we've been doing here, that will add more and more value. On that note, thank you all, and meet you all again next week. Until then, have a great week ahead and stay safe. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Yes.
Thank you, Prakashji. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Anil Goswamiji. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. God bless.
Pleasure,
God
pleasure,
bless.
sir. Pleasure, sir.
Thank you, Prakash. Chaitanya here.
Hey, hi. Thank you,
Signing off.
Chaitanya. Thanks for joining in. Chaitanya, I'll respond to you on WhatsApp. I've seen your message.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll do that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Pankaj. Thanks for the panel
Thanks,
discussion.
Prakash.
The role
Thank
which
you,
you have
everyone.
played as well. Thank you.
Thank you.